Hello, it's Simon Zutshi here. In this property education video, I want to share with you the news about the Bank of England's decision today to leave Bank of England base rates at 5.25%. Now, this is the third time they've left the rates at this rate. Now, is that good news for UK property investors or is it bad news? Well, it really depends how you look at it. I think one bit of good news is rates haven't gone up any further. At one time, there was talk that maybe rates might go up to as high as 6.5%. That's an extra 1.25 from where they are now. That would have a massive impact on many homeowners and many property investors and the cost of their mortgages. However, given that the rate has stayed the same for 3 consecutive times, many people feel that maybe we have reached the peak of the interest rate rises at 5.25%. Now, this all depends on inflation. The Bank of England target for inflation is just 2%. However, inflation is still over that, I think, for 4.7, 4.8%, depending who you listen to. But the point is, inflation has still got a long way to come down. And the Bank of England use interest rates as a macroeconomic tool to control inflation. So as inflation goes up, they raise the rates, and the idea is that's supposed to slow the economy down, makes it more expensive to borrow, so things contract, and that brings inflation down. Now, that policy certainly has worked throughout 2023. Inflation got up to over 10%, and Rishi Sunak said one of his goals was to halve inflation. He certainly managed to do that, and obviously there was lots of congratulations, celebration for that, but the cost of that, the way that was done, was the interest rates shooting up massively. Remember, the Bank of England base rate was as low as 0.5% for almost a decade after the financial crisis. And it's only in the last 18 months or so, it's gone up consecutively to now this rate of 5.25%. Now, the Monetary Policy Committee has got 9 members, and 6 of those members were voting to leave the rate at 5.25%. But 3 of them were suggesting the rate should actually go up. So this is an interesting situation. It's not as if they're talking about it should come down, and a lot of them are voting to leave it where it is. There's actually general consensus that, 3 of them want it to go up because they feel we still need to battle inflation. So what's going to happen to UK inflation? That's going to have a big impact on the Bank of England base rate and also the cost of mortgages here in the UK, particularly for buy-to-let property investors. So one of my concerns is I don't think we've seen the full effect of inflation. I mentioned this in my last video about this because in the Red Sea, we've got this crisis where obviously freight ships are being attacked. This has caused a massive increase in the cost of freight containers. So anything that's imported from China to the UK, which is a lot of goods, we're going to see the cost of that going up massively. A friend of mine imports baby goods. He was saying actually he's going to have to increase his prices in January by 20%. Now, I don't think we've seen the effect of that come through. In fact, the latest inflation figures don't come out to mid-February. So it's not going to be till mid-February we're going to see, are we actually bringing inflation down or has it spiked up again? Now, with the Bank of England target at 2%, and it's currently over 4%, I think about 4.7%, what that means is that we've still got a long way to go to rates come down. What would have been really good news for property investors is seeing the Bank of England base rate starting to come down. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. It really does depend on these inflationary figures. And in fact, we could see rates going up again. So what does that mean for you and for your property investing here in the UK? Well, it depends. I believe if you're out there finding good deals, by the way, it's a buyer's market right now. A lot of people thought we were going to have a property market crash. That hasn't happened, but rates have come down. Prices have come down during 2023, although in the last 3 months of 2023, we actually had prices go up slightly. Now, the Halifax, who's the biggest lender in the UK, they seem to think that prices will come down about 4% on average in 2024. So it looks like we're not out of the woods yet. With the difficulty getting mortgages, the cost of mortgages, there are still many buyers who are waiting by the side, waiting to see what happens. What that means is there are more sellers in the market than there are buyers in it. It's what we call a buyer's market, which means if you are a buyer, it's a great time to be investing in property. Now, yes, interest rates are relatively high compared to the last decade. However, if you've done any of my training, you'll know whenever we do our training, we get you to use 6% as a cost to work out your mortgage cost, knowing that mortgages are generally going to be less than that, and knowing that mortgage rates probably would come up to that at some point in the future, which obviously they have now. So really, you should be able to get a buy-to-let mortgage for less than 6%. So using that figure, it should still work. So you want to make sure your investments stack up at a 6% interest rate. Now, many single lets don't work very well, and the two best strategies I believe for 2024 are the high cash flow strategies that are co-living HMOs and also short-term rentals, otherwise known as serviced accommodation. There's high demand for those, they're very profitable for you, and they're cost-effective for the people who are living in your HMO or using your short-term accommodation. So they're perfect for the current market, and I believe they're the strategy you should be using right now. So I believe, rather than waiting to see what happens, use the fact that we're in this buyer's market to negotiate really good properties. You should be buying properties at a really good price. Make sure they stack up, plan to hold for the long term. Doesn't matter if you buy now and it's worth slightly less later in the year. Well, not really, as long as you're not selling. As long as you're following the golden rules I talk about in my book, Property Magic. Basically, we want to buy from motivated sellers, and there are lots of motivated sellers right now. Rule number 2, we want to make sure we buy in an area with strong rental demand, and most areas it's got really good demand, you've got a good property, you will easily rent it out. Number 3, we've got to make positive cash flow. This is the tricky one. It's difficult for single lets, but for HMOs and SA, it can work really well. Rule number 4, we're holding for the long term. So don't buy something now expecting to sell it next year. You might not be able to do it, but if you're holding for long term, you should see really good capital growth with your properties. And rule number 5, have a cash buffer. Some money put aside. So in case you have things like interest rates go up or insurance problems, etc., that aren't covered by insurance, you can get them covered and paid. So it's really important to understand, follow the 5 golden rules. It will minimize your risks of investing. So I believe now is a great time to invest as long as you know what you're doing. If you want to keep up to date what's happening, obviously you can watch this YouTube channel. If you like this video, please hit the like button, come and put a comment below. Tell me, what do you think is going to happen to interest rates, and what do you think is going to happen to inflation in the UK? Who knows what's going to happen, but I'd love to hear your views. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We bring out timely videos like this. The announcements come out today. We get this video out today because I think it's really important. That's why I'm filming this while I'm at one of my events, because you need to know about the impact of these things as they happen. So subscribe, hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified whenever videos come out. The other thing I would say is this, which is that if you want to keep up to date what's happening in the property market, if you want to be inspired and build your belief that you can actually do this, I recommend you go to your local property investor network meeting. There are pin meetings all over the country, most of them in the evening, during the week, they're physical meetings. It's a great place for you to connect with other like-minded people also investing in property, to learn from them, to be inspired by what they've done. It means you can do it as well, to get the latest updates and really find out what's happening in the property market. There's no excuse for not knowing how to invest. There's so much information out there. Get yourself along to your local pin meeting. There'll be a link below the video in the description, or you can just go to pinmeeting.co.uk to find your local meeting. There are some online as well. We've even got some in the Netherlands and also in Dubai as well. So go and check out your local PIN meeting. If you've never been to a PIN meeting before, you can actually use the voucher code, which is YouTube. Put it in and it will bypass the payment page for the very first time, come to your first PIN meeting. So we'd love you to come and experience the environment, connect with like-minded people, and realize you don't have to do this on your own, and learning or working with people is a smart thing to do. So go and check out your local PIN meeting. Tell me below what you think is going to happen to interest rates and inflation, and also make sure you like the video, subscribe and hit the bell icon. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. As ever, I encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill. Hello, it's Simon Zutshi here. I do hope you just enjoyed that YouTube video. And you know what? If you really want to move forward in your property investing, it's much easier to do it with the help of other people. And one of the best things you can do is go to your local property investor network meeting, where you can meet other like-minded people. You can learn some of the very best strategies and really get a motivational positive boost every single month about what you could achieve from your property investing. Now, there are 50 plus meetings around the UK. We've got meetings in the Netherlands, we've got them in the UAE as well, and growing around Europe. So all you have to do is click on the link below this video, go to pinmeeting.co.uk. All the meetings are listed there. Click on the one that's closer to you, see when the date and time is, and if you want to attend that meeting, you can just buy a ticket, or if you want to come as my guest to your very first PIN meeting, just use the voucher code, which is the word YouTube, because obviously you've watched the YouTube video. So just go to pinmeeting.co.uk, pick your location, scroll down where it says payment options, click on pay with a voucher code, fill in the details. use the word YouTube and it will bypass the payment page and you can come to your very first PIN meeting for free. If you haven't been yet, I highly recommend you come along and see exactly what you've been missing out on. You're going to wish you would have gone years ago. It's going to help you move forward massively with your property investing. So if you enjoy these videos, I highly recommend you go and check out the PIN meeting. Click on the link below in the description. Invest with knowledge, invest with skill, and enjoy the next video.